Hope it was Power here to review the Kamen Rider Revice DX Thunder Gale Vistamp. So here's the second half of the super form of Kamen Rider Revice, as this actually transforms both Revice and Vice into Kamen Rider Revice as the official fusion form. Interesting concept for sure. But as you can see here, here's the Thunder Gale Vistamp. So, Kamen Rider Revice right there. Obviously, an evolution of Kamen Rider Jack Revice. Interestingly, there's the Vistamp. Obviously, the traditional power-up selection. Why did I say selection? A lot of tape residue, just because I got this with a bunch of tape, as you can see from here, because it ripped at like 2 different occasions. Essentially everything the Vistamp could do. Yeah, so let's take a look at it. Forgot to mention how much I really like the background of the box. I really like the tornado aspect of it. Really helps encapsulate, like, I guess, the transformation, even though it's not a blue cloud. Anyways, here's the Thunder Gale Vistamp, and I really have to say, I really like the shape of this one. When this one was announced, I wasn't really expecting much out of it, just because it's like, alright, it's weird that this is the second form within the series that we're getting like a 2-part thing out of, because, you know, I guess they really did not want to do another. Obviously, they can't do another Bard, Rex, and Volcano because, you know, that would be too repetitive. But I really do like the design overall of Thunder Gale. Obviously, it's another T-Rex, but I really do like how this one in particular, it's the animal now being the entire stamp. Because obviously, this is an entire T-Rex head with the mouth open with the propeller typhoon-esque fan, obviously to resemble the typhoon belt. And I just really like this like translucent magenta pink. It's really neat, and I really do like the eyes here. Like the paint here, I think is really sharp. I just really like the expression of the T-Rex. The back, again, is this translucent yellow, which I think the 2 colors really work well. Then here's the back for the Gomba Rising QR code. And then there's just a bunch of random clips here for securance. Obviously, this is for the Vistamp connectivity, which is also sprung up to then be slotted into other objects. The speakers back here, so we're back to that tradition. Here we have the very satisfying button. I really like it overall, especially this divot. I just like that. I think it's for your thumb, something like that. And obviously, to actually show it, when you press this down, you start the propelling process of the fan. I really like this the thunderbolts here to make this thunder fan. Again, just everything about this Vistamp, I just really like overall. And just the fact this is like a normal size Vistamp and such. And here's the magnet for Thunder Gale. I really like it overall. Again, it's essentially encapsulating the T-Rex head with the thunder. Again, it's really cool. For size comparison, here's Bard Rex. Like, it's basically the same size as it, but just with, like, you know, functionality wise, it's just like a normal Vistamp. Like, this really works well. Oops. With like staying next to side like typical Vistamps. Like, surprisingly, I just really like that, you know, we come this far within the show and we have a basic looking power up Vistamp. I really appreciate that, because I really feel like, especially with like Saber, they were trying to like I feel like the issue with like recent series is that they really tried to like amp themselves up, like one up themselves with each power up, and I feel like it just starts becoming repetitive. And with Revice, it's like, okay, you already got a Vistamp that's a knuckle duster. I don't know how else you're gonna one up this. So I really do appreciate that they just went back to basics a lot here. Apologize that it's becoming a lot bluer. But anyways, we got the activation sound. That's great. Activation. So we actually do have both voices of the typical Vistamp and Vice, which is really neat because obviously this is, you know, to encapsulate, this is like a fusion. And there's actually two LEDs, like LED like sections at the top and bottom. So the top was a yellow and then the bottom was a light blue. And then we actually do have a secondary button, or a button press, which is really neat. And obviously the stamping sound, there's that. Because I forgot to do it beforehand, let's try to stamp the wall. That was not a stamp. Woohoo! Alright, Revice driver. Stamp it like so. So we get the standby, which the transformation process of this one's a bit different because obviously we do the typical thing. However, we're gonna press the button whenever, right when we slot it in. So there we have the transmission on Kamen Rider Revice, to which is one of the most offbeat jingles within this toy line, but that's why I really like it. Like, surprisingly, we don't have a, like, you know, the typical, like, you know, buddy up sound, because of the fact it's just immediately the lever sound, and then it just goes straight into the transformation jingle. And apparently that's just so then the jingle can go along with the entire duration of the fan, which I think it's pretty smart. And, you know, I think it helps with the, like, aspect of, like, you know, thunder and such, because obviously that's all on, like, speed. And then here's the Magnadoodle of the Thunder Gale dinosaur. Now we actually can press the button of this one, which simply just does that, you know, to give Revice more power boosts and such. Obviously, we have our annual 2 typical Vistamp sounds. I also been very forgettable. Well, yeah, I've been very forgetful about acknowledging the voices of this and Rolling, because obviously with Rolling, I did now acknowledge that like Vice's voice was included within it, but you can clearly tell it was mostly him voicing that one. Now for this one, it's obviously the both of them equally voicing it, obviously to emphasize on the fusion aspect. And obviously we got the remix. I really do like this finisher standby too. And just like Volcano, the remix is more of a finisher attack, again, never used at all. And here you can hear what would have been the lever sound, Revice up, which obviously you can simply add that to the transformation via editing. And for special occasion reasons, we will actually use Barred Rex. driver so close to being show accurate. And I just mean that like what I mean by actually using Bard Rex is actually just, you know, showcasing it, because obviously I tried not to. Yaba yaba. Alright, Thunder Gale within this one is pretty neat in my opinion. What I mean by that's kind of the most atrocious one because of how this goes into the Revice driver. Because I don't understand, like from what I understand, they added this just so then this doesn't fling out of the Revice driver, I guess, for extra securance. And obviously, as I said before, this thing flips up when you insert it within the Revice driver and such. However, because of all of this mechanism, it's actually difficult putting this into the two-side driver smoothly. And you can press it here. Like, overall, I just really like how this looks, and like, I like this part too. I really like how, essentially how this is working out is that, like, obviously this is playing its sound. So it is sending its signal to the two-side driver, but then the two-side driver obviously is not getting that signal until that sound is done playing and such. So I just really like how that's, like, working. This thing, obviously, this thing is just, because it's relying on this one button, it's just obviously, like, when you get used to it, it's a lot easier pulling this out, but, like, honestly, this is just not, like, it's kind of horrendous. Especially just trying to align this. Yeah, I don't like hearing that, because obviously it's literally just this thing scratching this entire section up, the arrows of the two-side driver up. I don't really like that, but other than that, I like this thing in here. Alright, let's try to utilize this thing. Obviously the traditional extra. Also, I just want to address, just because I did bring this up, this one is, for me, again, just kind of fun inserting, just because of all the mechanism, the mechanism stuff that is included with this one. Like, I don't know, you just get this nice clickiness to it. Then we got the best one, in my opinion. I'll do, again, just like the Demon's Driver, I'll only demonstrate the restyle. Which I just spoiled the fact you can restyle. So besides the fact the sound is delayed and such, I really like how this looks overall. Whenever Jean gets a power-up within like the Vistamp or whatever, they need to retool this Vistamp, because this honestly looks really good on this driver. And again, like, it's still accessible because, like, you can press this and still get the love code phrases. Sadly, it doesn't allow the Vistamp to play out its sounds, but this is fun! Forgot to mention this one also has 7 LED, and because of the fact this one is like a vastly different color, like a brighter color, you can actually see the like magnet at the bottom, which I really appreciate. I don't remember what this was used. Was this an axe mode? What did I do rolling in? Gosh. I forgot, yeah, you were supposed to do this. Then again, I don't think they ever did. Sorry. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Alright. Alright. So, we actually have one more function to actually show off with Thunder Gale, to which is that it can actually, just like Bard Rex, scan Vistamps. Or Bard Rex and rolling. So if I were to take Rex and simply, you know, position it up to this post of, like, align it to the spring portions and this post, like so. So you get charge, and you get a combination of 2 LEDs, you get this lighting up, and you press the button. So yeah, Rex produces a light blue and a light purple LED. So this is kind of just like rolling. So like if I were to put out Eagle. It's the exact same sound, however you get awkwardly green and blue. So I guess how much example can you go in, please, Eagle? So I guess there's more that we have to show. So like if we were to use Holy Wing. We get a white LED. So basically that's for all power-ups, and if we use something like Cobra, it's still white. So I'll just say this, just like the rolling Vistamp, this thing will only recognize the main 10 Vistamps and will essentially block out all other Vistamps. And I generally forgot to do the rolling Vistamp because I was actually going to show this within the rolling Vistamp if you were to use this. Oops. Yeah, you can't use rolling at all with this Vistamp because the two sensors again are conflicting with each other because rolling sensors telling Thunder Gale to say its name only, but then Thunder Gale is not even bothering trying to send its signal to rolling. So this is a really interesting case where like two Vistamps that can read Vistamps cannot actually like cooperate with each other. Because Bard Rex is interesting because obviously this one is like the two of them would try to override each other, but then one of them will eventually win. So if you don't activate anything, so if you only activate Thunder Gale, you can hear. What the? You can hear like this one like. Obviously, it's just a white LED. So again, like Bard Rex will try to Barbarade, but then Thunder Gale wants to charge. So essentially, again, the two signals just really like fighting each other. Speaking of signals. Yep. Surprisingly goes on for a long time. So yeah, for a power-up Vistamp, it's actually unique that they actually, you know, that definitely signifies that this is obviously a different signal for a power-up Vistamp and not just reusing like a Holy Wing and that kind of thing. But yeah, before the battery dies suddenly, my thoughts overall on Thunder Gale is that I really do like this Vistamp overall. From the one I was not really expecting much out of, I ended up loving this one a lot. I really like the design. I love the shape of it. I really love handling it. I really like the sounds overall. I really like how it takes what rolling has done, but then like again, like you know, changes it up, you know, to embrace, you know, its themes and such. And like again, it's just really nice to actually have a really simplistic power-up item this late into the show. It's really refreshing and such. And like again, like it's just fun overall. I really don't understand the whole point of this one being able to like be compatible with the Vistamps, because I literally forgot about this. Because if I showed Bard Rex, I forgot to actually show. He only did this with Mammoth. I personally don't get the entire. I don't personally get that entire gimmick. I don't remember what it did exactly. I think he was just able to throw a tornado of mammoths towards whoever her name was. But like, other than that, like, it just feels kind of like last minute. Just because they're like, oh shoot, this is a power-up item. We need this to do something with the other Vistamps. Like, yeah, it's cool that it does that. But now that's another thing I have to add on to the videos now. To which at this point, like, we already covered them all. We didn't cover all the light combinations. There's like 5 light combinations. Which is weird because this thing is 7 LED and they couldn't match the colors. So it's just really weird. Especially like some that are, again, like Eagle is like green and blue. Where do you get blue from? So besides the Vistamp functionality, this one's a really fun Vistamp overall. And you know, Zarek and I are on the side that are fine with the design of Revice. I never had an issue with it. I don't know why everyone thinks it like killed their cousin or something. Because it killed the camera. So besides like the Vistamp compatibility, I really do like this one overall. And also alongside with Holy Wing, you can actually find this one hopefully. Like again, this and Holy Wing, sorry. I was actually able to get for like about retail price for 28 off of Mandarake. Again, I haven't checked if it's still available. Hopefully it is. But be sure to get that because you're not gonna like. I'm just glad that like the only difficult thing out of Revice is clearly going to be Giffard Rex or Giffard Rex because that's a final form. But like, I just really like what this one does overall. I just really like this Vistamp, and I wasn't really expecting that. Just because at this point, I was just kind of like, whatever. I'll get it whenever it comes out and such. But like this, like having this one in hand, it's just like, it makes me happy. um, I don't have to do with this video. This is power, and I'll leave you people. The suit's fine.